Okay, today you want to learn artificial intelligence? First, you must learn how to program to C++ programming language. I have a bachelor's degree in computer science, and I will give you an introduction to C++ programming. Okay, in this book, we're going to learn the first initial statement for a loop is the first statement to execute. It executes only one. A loop is what it sounds like. It's a continuous action that happens. And every time you execute something, you must, for a line to go through on coding, you must execute it with a semicolon right here. Every time you want to execute something, execute it with a semicolon. Now we need to know certain words such as syntax, parameters, reserved words. You must execute. If you want a word to be saved as a parameter or reserved word, you must put a $, which today in this generation is called a hashtag. You store your reserved word, which is called syntax. Syntax are abbreviated words such as enum, which is for enumerators. It's a reserved word in C++. And another first lesson that you must learn that the computer understands is zeros and ones. So examples of the abbreviated or reserved words are such. You see the hashtag include int for integer, which is when you're trying to make a reserved word for a certain number, and you see everything is executed by that semicolon right there. Okay, let me just skim through the book and see more reserved words such as namespace. You see the hashtag include, and you see after include you put the parameters with the out arrows. I don't know what those are called, and you're setting after you set it the parameter. You're gonna name header file name, which is gonna be the header of the file. If you don't execute it with a semicolon, you will have a syntax error and your code will light up red. Here's an example of commonly used escape sequences. If you want a new line, you put the \n. Insertion point moves to the beginning of the next line on your cursor. Hashtag T for tab. Insertion point moves to the next tab. Hashtag B for backspace. Return, \\, / with a quotation, single quotation. Now I'm moving pretty fast here. So another beginning step is to understand reserved words and variables. To make a variable execute, you must declare the variable. So you must put a equal sign and declare what number that you want to have it as. In this case, we're gonna have an example of simple programming for a cable billing company. Okay, first you want these are integers that you want to set. First, you have to declare the integer. Bill processing fee, you will put int and put in parameters. Bill processing fee on the header equals $4.50. Okay. For business customers, the following rates apply. This is how it's going to look, but you have to code this. For business customers, the following rates apply. Billing processing fee 15. All of these numbers are going to have to be declared by the integer equals these numbers, and you want to repeat it with a loop. Okay. An algorithm these days, like on YouTube, algorithm is a step-by-step solution to solve a problem. But on YouTube, they define algorithms as like what you search for on YouTube, they give you sort of like similar options that are close to what you search for. And it's really kind of like a privacy breach, but I guess it helps. Like when you go back to YouTube or Google, it helps for you to find stuff related to what you really like. But in programming language, an algorithm is the step-by-step process to solve a programming problem. These are just simple steps of a CPU, a computer, a central processing unit. You have registers, which are the memories, PC, program counter, input device, output device, the arithmetic logic unit, which is the ALU. The main memory operates with the ALU, and you have your secondary storage, which is like RAM and things of that nature. Here's the process of which a program must go through: the problem, the analysis, the algorithm design, then you code it. After coding, it goes through the syntax, which is the compiler. If it's no syntax error, if it's a syntax error, it's going to go back. You got to go back to code it again and fix your problem. If not, it's going to go through the compiler, says no error. Then it's going to go through the linker, loader, then execution. Then you're going to see your results. So if you have a program and you want to like declare integer and find and make a formula to get the sales tax, it's sort of like geometry using formulas. But you will declare sales tax equals state sales tax plus city sales tax plus luxury tax. And I will show you how to declare each reserve word and data type before you execute this formula. Now, here's a programming which will be needed for a lot of companies, which is calculating a monthly paycheck. Okay. Calculate salesperson monthly paycheck. You need to know the base salary, the number of years the salesperson has been working in the company, and the total sale made by the salesperson for that month. Suppose base salary, which is one of your reserve words you're going to have to use in your algorithm, denotes the base salary. Number of service years. You see, it's bold. It's another reserve word data type you're going to have to use. The bonus, total sale, denotes the total sale made by the salesperson for that month, and additional bonus denotes the additional bonus. You can determine the bonus. Okay, here's the algorithm. Here's a formula. If, you have to put it in parentheses. If is an integer. It's one of those reserved words. Number of service years, that's going to be shown on your program after it's done, is less than equal to 5. You have to put another parenthesis. Bonus equals 10 times the number of service years. Otherwise, here's another reserve word. Bonus equals 20. Number of reserve years. Remember, $20 for each year that he or she has worked here. That's the bonus. Next, you can determine additional bonus. If, reserve word, parentheses, total sale is less than 5,000, additional bonus will equal 0. You have to do this. And after you do all of this, to calculate the monthly check, you must execute with what? Semicolon. After we do this, you can now calculate a salesperson paycheck on a program with your own program. First, you get the base salary, reserve word. Get number of service years, reserve word. Calculate using the following formula. If number of service years is less than equal to 0 to equal to 5, bonus is 10. Otherwise, reserve word, you have to put that. Otherwise, so if it's not equal or 5, your bonus is 20 times the number of service years. 4, get the total sale. You will put the equal sign on your program. Basic step, a fast-paced step now. If you get these basics, foundation, fundamentals, you can easily learn the code. And this will eventually get you into AI programming and coding. Okay, X is an integer. Okay, for this algorithm, we're just showing you how to declare your variables using reserved words. Here's another reserved word using namespace. Okay. Now, in a program, sometimes a person, your user, will make a mistake, and if the program is in a loop counter control while loop, you have to have make the program true or false, which if they enter a certain number, it won't execute. But if it enters a number that should be executed, it will go as follows. It is possible that the body of a while loop may not execute at all. An infinite while loop, the while expression, the decision maker, is initially false, but after the first iteration is always true. Okay, in simple terms, if you have a infinite while loop, for example, the integer j equals 0, semicolon, while they saying j, which is what you're gonna set, is a variable you're gonna set for a certain name. If it's less than or equal to 10, j++, which means it's gonna execute forever. And if it's greater than whatever you set the variable for j, it's not gonna execute. It's terminates. Okay, to sum this fast pace, I know we kind of jumping from subject to subject. We are going to explain. Pre-algebra is needed. So before discussing a function in C++, you have to review the concept from algebra. Okay, such as like a value, we can kind of relate that to functions. Functions and formulas are the same sort of thing. Such in algebra, if f, which is like in C++ program, f in parentheses x, we declaring f to x equals 2x plus 5. Then f equals, if f is 1, which we replace x for 1, it equals 7. So we're replacing that x with a 7. F is 2 equal. If f was 2, it'll equal 9. 7 times 2, 14 equals 2x plus 5. 5, you will subtract that 5 minus 14, divide the 2 into 9. So you must know pre-algebra to understand formulas and variables and integers, because you have to swap out numbers for certain integers in programs. It's very similar. Here's some functions, data types, and reserved words. Parameter type int, which is integer. It returns the absolute value of an argument. Absolute value is -7. That means it's going to be the opposite. It's going to equal 7. CLX, CMath, which is the header file, is going to be on your program. CMath, it's a header file, which is going to say math. It's going to return the cosine of angle x. Cosine 0.0 equals 1.0. CMath returns the smallest whole number that is greater than or equal to x. Okay, to have a predefined function in the program, you must include that header. The header type, right here, CC type. Purpose is to return the lowercase value of x if x is uppercase, otherwise returns x. Okay, here's an example of a predefined function. Hashtag include. Your header is IOString. Using namespace is a predetermined word, standard. Have to execute that with a semicolon. The integer is main, parentheses. Int, integer x. So we're trying to declare the value of x, semicolon. Double. double has only one parameter. The floor function now, floor, it calculates the largest whole number that is less than or equal to x. Now I'm just trying to show you the basics. The basics of a C++ is a collection of one or more subprograms called functions. Roughly speaking, a subprogram or function is a collection of statements, and when it's activated or executed with a semicolon, I put that in there, it accomplishes something. Some functions called predefined or standard functions are already written for us and are provided as part of the system. But to accomplish most tasks, programmers must learn to write their own functions. Every C++ have a function called main. Thus, if C++ program has only one function, it must be the function main. Until chapter 6, when we get down to that part, I'm going real fast. Other than using some of the predefined function, you will mainly deal with the function main. By the end of this chapter, you should have learned to write the function main. Okay, on our part 2, we're gonna focus on the function main and write a simple program using the integer, the function main. And we're just gonna show you how a program. We're gonna do it on the computer. We're gonna have our coding out. We're gonna show you how we can write an algorithm to make a program say "Welcome to C++ program," and we're gonna end it with the semicolon. Thank you. Subscribe, and you can tune in to my YouTube channel. T. Hurt and I will be teaching a variety of things. It can be from C++ programming. That's gonna elevate you to AI. I'm not really familiar with AI. It can be from girls. It can be from fathering, which I father two kids. You know, all day, every day. There's a lot of things I teach you. So my page is very valuable, man. You know, tune in, baby. You never seen nothing like it. Subscribe.